So we start with the women's junior race. Some great names have won this over the years. Paula Radcliffe in 1992, still the marathon world record holder. Tirunesh Dibaba was victorious in 2003. So a full lineup of all the countries taking part, 28 in total. So there is the lineup. Pretty good squad. Waldo, arguably the best, 5th in the world juniors over 3,000 meters last year. And there are the Kenyans. Cheretich lining up first. She was 5th in the national championships. But is this a day for Rosaflin Chepngetich? Gold in the World Youth and the Youth Olympics over the steeplechase. Japan have a good team. Got a good chance of a team medal here, the Japanese athletes. Great Britain, long journey for them. A brilliant bronze 2 years ago. Different set of personnel, but they'll give it absolutely everything here. And it's good to see some of the leading European nations not afraid to take on the might of the East Africans. So we've talked about the course, 6 obstacles, and actually around obstacle 5 and 6, it's fairly downhill, but there are plenty of interruptions to the rhythm here. The 41st edition of the IAAF World Cross Country Championships, and we get underway here in China with the junior women. 3 laps, 6K. Who will reign supreme here? And at last, after a huge wait on the start line, the anxious glances, the jumping up and down on the spot can finish. And now we have a race proper here. They're coming up to that really sharp hairpin to the left. We've got 2 Kenyans leading, and it is pretty quick. One of the Australians up there in amongst the first 10 or 12. So a pretty intense pace being set at the front of the race. And the familiar colours, the red and black of Kenya, the green, yellow and red of Ethiopia. Yet another chapter in an illustrious rivalry. And the only other athlete in that group is representing Bahrain, but was born in Kenya. Total dominance from these 2 nations then in the early stages. Now this is looking good for the Ethiopians. Chepkamai leads. Jabet for Bahrain in second with Gide, but look at how well the Ethiopians are packing out. They've got 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. And this time round, all of these young women will hear the bell, which will signal just 2K to go. And the 3 Kenyans have been dropped. It is only Chepkamai who is there. She's leading, she's doing brilliantly at the moment, but the Ethiopians are turning the screw on the team gold, and that would reverse the 1-2 from 2 years ago. So Chepkamai leads. Gide is in second place. Dida now coming through into 3rd. The Ethiopians are assured of the team title. Waldo trying to mount a charge. So too Tarefa coming wide on the outside. It's so tight. Any of these 6 could take the title, and Gide's gone past. Have we seen the last of Chepkamai? Letasende Gide has made her bid for gold. Dida's in second place. Chepkamai is in 3rd. And she'll go round this big sweeping bend, and she'll start to think about the finish. This is a determined bid for gold from Letasende Gide. The national cross-country champion is tearing away from the rest of the field. Dida is in second place. Chepkamai is in third, Waldu in fourth. Chepngetich cutting a tired figure here. She will need to keep driving to the finish, though, to ensure that the Kenyans take the team silver. Little stumble there from Gide, but she's away and clear. Deradida in second place. Chepkamai is still in third at the moment, but Waldu is right behind her. This is a brilliant run from the Ethiopian national cross-country champion. Driving up those little inclines. She looked really comfortable sitting in behind the Kenyan leaders. First it was Mbithi, then Chepkamai had a go. And now, is it a grimace or is it turning into a smile? It certainly should do, because now Letasende Gide can see the finish, but she's gone the wrong way. She still has a big enough lead, I think. Extraordinary moments there. She has to dig deep, but after a heart-stopping moment, Gide becomes the world champion. Dida takes second, and I think Waldu came across the line to make it a 1-2-3 for the Ethiopians. They've taken all of the individual medals, and they'll be the team champions as well. A clean sweep for the Ethiopians. Gide was world class. Stella Chesang just managing to come inside the top 10. Good performance from two of her Ugandan teammates for 17th and 18th as well.
The medals will be presented by Tatsuyuki Tanaka, Mr.
So the first of our medal presentations. Great team performance. Ethiopia taking the Rift Valley bragging rights, and Bahrain coming home ahead of Uganda for the team bronze. And the athletes are beginning to line up now for this junior men's race. So they were just waiting for the last finisher to come across the line in that junior women's race. So the Ethiopian team, they took the honours 2 years ago. Haji, arguably their best athlete, world junior silver last year over the 5,000 metres, but the Kenyans have a brilliant squad as well. Koech took a bronze in the Youth Olympics last year over 3,000 metres. The Ugandans poised and ready. Some of the world's greats have come and won this title. Million Walde, Olympic 5,000 metre champion. Kenenisa Bekele, multiple cross-country champion. They are underway. Which name amongst the large group of 118 junior men will be adding their name to a great list of champions? Eliud Kipchoge won in 2003. The loping Asbel Kiprop won in the heat and humidity of Mombasa in 2007, before taking Olympic glory over 1,500 metres. Once again, the tight left-hand turn. And in fact, quite interesting, perhaps the junior men have spread out a little quicker than the junior women did. Eritrean leading in the early stages. Haile Selassie. Jumo's in second place for Kenya. And the Eritreans determined to get in amongst the mix here. Haile Selassie was third in the Eritrean National Cross-Country Championships earlier this year. It looks like Aaron Kifle is in second place, so interesting that the two Eritreans have decided to get out to the front. Kifle won the Eritrean Championships. Great to see the two Eritreans out front, just laying down a marker to their arguably more established East African rivals, saying, hey guys, if you fancy this, you're going to have to really take it to us. So Kenya 1, Eritrea 2 and 3, Ethiopia 4, Uganda 5. A much wider cross-section of nations here in the early stages. Just saw Korea having a little bit of a slip there as he went round one of the tight turns. And the fact that the course is so twisting may well play a part in some of the drama in the latter stages. If not in this race, then perhaps towards the end of the senior men's race when they're doing their 6th circuit on a course that will already have been cut up. Aaron Kifley still right there. Kiptaris coming up onto the shoulder of his compatriot. And now we have a big group, and Cheptegei has gone to the front. He's got Masobo for company as well. Masobo on the left of that group with the distinctive yellow Ugandan vest. He was second in the National Cross Country Championships behind Cheptegei. And as I said, no Ugandan or Eritrean has ever won this title. It's a long list of Kenyans and Ethiopians. 7 are away and clear at the moment, and 4 of them are Kenyan, which is why they're leading the team competition. Now Langat once again just allows a metre or 2 to grow. Masobo is doing everything he can to try and get back with that leading group. He knows his compatriot Cheptegei is going really well. Chematai has just allowed a metre or 2 to grow. Now, this could be something of nothing, but I just saw Haji, the Ethiopian, give a very cool, calm thumbs up to an Ethiopian coach on the side of the course. That could indicate that he's feeling very comfortable tracking the 3 Kenyans as they come up with 2 kilometres to go. Haji has got a great opportunity here, following the footsteps of his countryman Hagos Gebrhiwit, who we'll see in the senior men's race a little later. I wonder whether this is panning out exactly as the Ethiopian had hoped. A big thumbs up for the coach, clearly not struggling if you're able to engage eye contact and some body language with those standing on the sidelines. Korea is the Kenyan schools champion over 10,000 metres. He glances over, he's still leading. Ungeno, third in the national championships, is second, and still the Ethiopian can't be dropped. Korea just putting a little bit of pace in there, and Haji's gone past Ungeno. Is this Geoffrey Korea's bid for world cross-country glory? Ungeno is still there, but where the 2 Kenyans were running side by side, they're now single file and they're separated by Yasin Haji. And I think the Ethiopian really fancies this. Ungeno looks safe and comfortable in 3rd place at the moment. But Korea will be aware that Haji is still there. Ungeno in 3rd. He does indeed have a sizable gap back to 4th. It's looking good for the Kenyans as far as the team title is concerned. But who is going to take the individual title here? Remember, some of the very best athletes in the world have begun their glittering careers with victory in this race. The likes of Kenenisa Bekele, Eliud Kipchoge, Asbel Kiprop. Will Geoffrey Korea add his name to that wonderful list of champions in the junior men's race? But Haji is only a stride behind. He's a shorter man, but he's got the speed. They're looking up now. So many people have turned out to watch this race, and they're going to be treated to a brilliant finish here in this junior men's confrontation. Haji just goes to the left-hand side. Korea still driving, but Haji has accelerated away. He even has time to wipe his nose. Yasin Haji looked really comfortable all the way through. That is a superb victory. Yasin Haji, silver in the World Juniors last year. It's gold in the World Cross Country here in China in 2015. Korea took the silver, Ungeno the bronze. But the glory in this race belonged to Yasin Haji, and he made that look very easy at the finish. Kiptaris came across for 4th. Chematot just beating Habde and Adane at the finish. Well, there was a thumbs up from Yasin Haji to one of the coaches on the sideline, and it gave you an indication of how comfortable he was feeling with 1 lap to go. Geoffrey Korea, a brilliant silver medalist. He is world class, but in that sprint finish, he was made to look pedestrian by a young man who surely has a glittering senior career to come. Confirmation then, Haji with that searing sprint finish takes the gold from Korea, and Gaino coming home with the bronze. Cheptegei drifted outside the top 10 in the end, but it was a magnificent race to watch. Kenyans taking the title from Ethiopia, and Eritrea were rewarded for their bold start with the team bronze. So now our thoughts turn to the senior women's race. A great lineup of nations here. Ethiopians and Kenyans will be favourites, of course. Kenya took the team title 2 years ago, Ethiopia the silver. So 6 obstacles on each of the 2K circuits. 4 times the senior women will negotiate this really fascinating course, 8K, and it may well go by in a flash. Very strong team from Kenya. Janet Kisa, arguably among the favourites here, but the Ethiopians have an incredible team here, and they will be really hard to beat. An enthralling race is safely underway. This has got the makings of a really, really intriguing encounter. You look down the lineup of the Ethiopian and Kenyan teams, and it is world class. Almost every single athlete has produced a brilliant performance on a global stage at junior or senior level. Emily Chebet lines up as the 2-time champion. Be watching out for her. She hasn't been on sparkling form. Tirop leading with Kip Kemboy. Tirop, a silver medalist at the World Juniors 2 years ago. Top quality all throughout this field. Kip Kemboy was 9th in the Kenya National Championships last year, over 5,000 metres. And it's a savage pace right from the very beginning. You've got to be so brave and bold when it comes to cross-country. And these two now just settling into a little bit of a rhythm. Mamitu Daska is up there for the Ethiopians. What a performance she had. She finished 2nd at the RAC half marathon in February, 66.27, the 10th fastest time in history. So she's got huge amounts of strength. Good to see Gemma Steele up towards the back of that group. British athlete, ran well in the world half in Kavana a few years ago. Boiling hot conditions in Bulgaria. Trying to close down the gap on a huge pack of Kenyans, Ethiopians, 2 Ugandans in there as well, and 2 of the Chinese athletes running very well in these early stages.
There is a bronze medalist in 2000.
Kirop and Cheptegei are leading at the moment. That was a glimpse back down the field. Mamitu Daska still right there, just watching, waiting to see who will drift off the back here. It has to start spreading out at some stage, surely. A little bit of bumping there. Gudetta just had to put a little nudge in the back of Cheptegei just to say, come on, I need some clear space here. If you're going to run in front of me, you've got to accelerate away a little bit. Tirop leads then. This little section of up and downs. They're not too far away from completing this 2nd circuit. And 2 of the Kenyans have been dropped off the back. It's Kisa. And who is the other one? It was inevitably going to happen at some stage. They have to whittle this group down. But Kisa has definitely gone off the back there. And it's Kip Kemboy who's behind her. Most of the rest have responded, but not Janet Kieser or at this stage Mamitu Daska. Halfway through this race then. Yalu, Ganette Yalu, silver medalist in the World Junior Cross Country 4 years ago. She's now towards the back end of that group. Emily Muge, second from the left, is still in there. We're calling her Emily Muge. She's Emily Chibet, and she is the two-time World Cross Country champion. And Tirop's injection of pace is really doing some damage here. This is Chang Quin Ding, who set that lifetime best in the marathon 6 days ago. She was on good form at the pre-race press conference on Friday, full of smiles and hope and delight that China was having the opportunity to host such a prestigious, historic part of the distance running calendar. Tirop's really having a go here, and one by one they are beginning to struggle. May just be seeing a few spots of rain as they head on to the third lap. So Gudetta is in second place. Netsanet Gudetta, a sub-69-minute half marathon performer. Daska is still hanging on. Yalu is now allowing a couple of meters to grow. Muge is still in there, so we did have a very big group. Now we are down to 8, and one by one the pace will begin to tell its toll. Barring a disaster, it will of course be gold and silver in the team competition. Hua Yang, she set a PB in the same marathon as her teammate, 2:38 6 days ago. A lot of miles in the bank and surely a little bit of fatigue as well. The gold and silver destined to go to Kenya and Ethiopia, but in which order? Kip Kemboy's gone out the back. Weldu, the Eritrean, will try and hold on to her. Good athlete, Nazareth Weldu. She was 19th in the World Cross in Bydgoszcz. Cheptai and Ndiwa are now the two athletes at the back. So we have Kenya 1, Ethiopia 2 and 3, Kenya 4, Ethiopia 5 and 6. It's still anyone's team title. 4 to score, of course. And Diwa and Cheptai just need to make sure that they hang on to the back of Bilenesh Algira. Algira, of course, a double global medalist 2 years ago in cross-country and with a magnificent bronze over 10,000 meters in Moscow. But Tirop has been the leader for a long time now, and she's showing no signs of being willing to share the reins here. She wants to assert her dominance on this race. We're not too far away from the concluding lap. 4 circuits, 8K in total. Teferi has gone into second place, silver medalist in the World Youth over 1,500 meters back in 2011. Got a World Junior bronze 3 years ago, so great speed in her legs. Gudetta in third place. We have 3 Ethiopians and 2 Kenyans, and indeed the other 2 Kenyans have begun to be dropped, and Diwa has gone off the back. Emily Muge is still there at the moment. She's in 4th place, the defending champion, but they're all really starting to tire now, and it's still this incessant pace from Agnes Tirop driving this race on and setting the tone for what could be a really brilliant last lap. What will her tactic be? Is she going to try and run the sting out of the 2 Ethiopians, just as Korea did in the junior men's race? Or will one of the Ethiopians have enough to deny her with a big sprint finish? It is starting to rain here. Not much wind on the course, still pretty good conditions. The Kenyan coach on the side of the course is roaring them on. Muge has just allowed another few meters to grow between herself and the lead quartet. So we will probably see a new champion unless Emily Muge can close the gap on Hiroi. Tirop still leading. Teferi and Gudetta are right there. Muge in 4th place. She's gone past Hiroi. Could she mount a challenge on the last lap? Well, she came out of nowhere a little bit. She didn't have a huge amount of form when she defended the title, or won the title for the 2nd time in Bydgoszcz. Just keep my eye on whether she manages to close the gap, and she's doing so. Just right of frame in those distinctive blue spikes. The defending champion is managing to close down on the leading trio. Well, this is really, really intriguing. She looked like she was having quite a bad patch there. What a story this would be if she was able to produce a hat-trick of titles here in China. Long way to go, though, and Tirop is still the one dominating proceedings here. As they come round this time, they will hear the bell, which will signal 2K to go in this senior women's race. On to the last of 4 laps then, in this senior women's brilliant battle for gold in the World Cross Country Championships. Agnes Tirop has led for the last 2 laps. Senber Terefi is in 2nd place, trying to do what she can to make it a 3rd Ethiopian victory in a row. They've won the junior races for men and women. And Muge, Emily Chebet Muge, has been dropped once again. The defending champions in 4th place. It looked as though she'd closed the gap down on these 3, but it's once again grown. So it looks as though the medals will come from this trio, barring a huge comeback from the defending champion or a problem for one of these lead 3. Gudetta in 3rd place, just allowing a couple of meters to grow between herself and her compatriot Teferi. Teferi in 2nd place. Has Tirop got enough to hang on here? The long-term leader is now, for the first time perhaps, coming under some pressure. Terefi just tried to move in on her inside, just to let her know she's there. They're now lapping 1 or 2 athletes, which takes some doing on a 4-circuit course. Gudetta trying to drive on and close that gap. She's got Emily Muge behind her, the defending champion, but she does have around 20-25 meters. But Gudetta has allowed a few meters to grow. It's Terefi against Tirop. Another battle of Ethiopia against Kenya. Great effort from Ding, the marathon specialist from China, riding high on the confidence of that marathon personal best. But look at this, just as we very much enjoyed in the junior men's race, we have a long-term Kenyan leader and an Ethiopian on the shoulder waiting to pounce. But will we see a repeat of Haji's great sprint finish for Ethiopia in the junior men's race? Or this time, will Agnes Tirop be rewarded for taking it out with World Championship glory? Gudetta is detached in 3rd place at the moment. Now Tirop will try and stretch her legs. She'll be steeling herself for the big finish. She must be tired. She's done all the work. Teferi has tucked in behind her all the way, never once leading, but never once being more than a stride off the pace. Teferi can see exactly what she has to do. Now, is she coming alongside? She's done that once, just to let Tirop know that she's still there. But they're so close together, Tirop will be able to hear Teferi breathing Gudetta still in third place. No sign of a move yet to get amongst the medals from Emily Muge. Tirop has to find something here, you suspect. Is Teferi saving a big sprint finish? She's a global medalist over 1,500 metres twice at youth and junior level. Tirop got the silver in the junior race in Bydgoszcz. She's got great history when it comes to cross country, and she got a bronze in the World Juniors over 5,000 metres in 2012 and last year in 2014. So it's the Kenyan 5,000 metre runner who already has one global medal in cross country from her junior days. It's Teferi from Ethiopia, the 1,500 metre runner. And this is the best thing about cross country, because it's a course and a distance that suits all. Teferi had a little go there, and instantly Agnes Tirop responded. Will that be significant come the closing stages? Teferi perhaps sensed that Tirop would be tired. Gudetta's trying to hang on to third place. Muge is in fourth, but Tirop was up to the challenge there. Teferi had a little go onto her shoulder, and the Kenyan responded, and responded immediately. Senber Teferi, right there, on the shoulder of Agnes Tirop. Will she have another go? Teferi has just looked over her shoulder. She can see that Gudetta is there. Emily Muge, barring something special, will not be on the podium. Heroi is in fifth place. Tirop now has 1 or 2 metres over Teferi. Has she been rewarded with a big enough advantage? I think Teferi might be beaten here. Tirop's still driving. She's accelerated away, and perhaps that little go at the front from Teferi was indicative that Tirop was not to be challenged this time. She's broken the spirit of her Ethiopian rival, and she's done this the hard way. All on her own, out in front, coming under pressure, not able to see what the rest of the field was doing. Challenged once by Teferi, and she was up to the task. So the Ethiopians have 2 gold medals here in China in the individual races, but this time the victory belongs to their great Rift Valley rivals, the Kenyans. Agnes Tirop with a brilliant sprint finish here. Silver 2 years ago as a junior in Bydgoszcz. It's gold here in China for Agnes Tirop. A fantastic victory. She's given it everything. Teferi takes the silver. Gudetta will come through for the bronze, and Heroi has managed to come past a tiring Emily Muge. No repeats of her gold medal winning exploits from Bydgoszcz for Emily Muge. She finishes in 6th place, but that was absolutely brilliant from Agnes Tirop. When the pressure came from Senber Teferi, she was equal and beyond it. Such a brave way to win a World Championship gold medal, out in front, setting your stall up and deciding that the victory will be yours. And confirmation, Agnes Tirop, brilliant strength from the front runner. She takes the title. Gemma Steele coming home inside the top 20 for Great Britain. But that was absolutely glorious from Agnes Tirop. So tight in the team competition. Ethiopia just pipping the Kenyans. Uganda taking the bronze. One last race here in China. It's the big one. The senior men. They will tackle this tough course 6 times, 12 kilometres in all. And it has, as you'd expect, attracted some of the biggest nations in the world as far as distance running are concerned. Ethiopia and Kenya right at the forefront, but there'll be plenty of other nations in the mix for that all-important team finish. 111 entries from 38 countries. And this really is a race with an enormous sense of history and occasion. So just to re-familiarise you with the course, those 6 obstacles, and we've seen the condition of people when they've come across the finish line in the 3 races so far. They've been absolutely spent, and if that's the case doing it 3 or 4 times, then 6 really is going to be punishing for these elite men. So the usual top quality teams from Ethiopia and Kenya. There's Jeffrey Kamworor. He's more commonly known as Jeffrey Kipsang. World Junior gold in cross country in 2011. Brilliant win in the World Half in Copenhagen last year. The Ethiopians, Hagos Gebrehiwit, just right of picture there. World Junior gold medalist in cross country 2 years ago. Silver over 5,000 in Moscow. Mukhtar Edris is also a very, very capable athlete. Bronze in the World Juniors a couple of years ago. Reputations are made in this race. Legends have come and won this title. Whose turn is it today? At last, they're underway. The senior men's race in the 2015 IAAF World Cross Country Championships. We've had 3 brilliant races already, and this potentially could be the best of the lot. Jeffrey Kamworor absolutely storming round that first hairpin bend, just wanting to make sure he doesn't get in any trouble whatsoever. Already with 2 global titles to his name, the junior cross country and that fantastic victory in the World Half in Copenhagen last March. Kamworor leads. Mukhtar Idris, world leading athlete last year, over 5,000 metres with an eye-watering 12:54. Also a medalist in the World Juniors. Picked up the bronze 2 years ago. So Kamworor reminding the whole field as they snake their way round that little bend, a magnificent sight. Over 100 of the best cross-country runners in the world, and they're all here going toe-to-toe for a title that has in the past been won by none other than Kenenisa Bekele, Paul Tergat, John Ngugi, Carlos Lopez, the Portuguese Olympic champion. It's a race littered with great names and great victories. In terms of the team title, Kenyans and the Ethiopians have won the last 32 between them. Kenya have 24, Ethiopia have 8, but it's the Ethiopians who are here as the defending team champions. Albert Ropp of Bahrain up onto the shoulder of Jeffrey Kamworor, 4th in the Continental Cup over 5,000 metres last year. Muchiri coming into the mix as well. He's better known as Bidan Karoki. Many people are saying he's the new Sami Wanjiru. 5th in the 10,000 metres in London. Muchiri, 6th in Moscow. And he's moved up onto the shoulder of Jeffrey Kamworor. It's a little bit confusing for those of you who follow distance running. You will know Jeffrey Kamworor better as Jeffrey Kipsang, but for the purposes of his running bib today, he is a Kamworor rather than a Kipsang. And Bidan Karoki today running with the bib Muchiri. Both of them standout names in a brilliant Kenyan team. And we should mention Leonard Barsoton as well, African cross-country champion last year, World Junior silver medalist 2 years ago in Bydgoszcz. A lot of people fancy he could get in amongst the mix here for the medals. Well, so far, Ethiopia had 2 team titles, junior and senior women, but the Kenyan took the junior men's. Can they level things up here? Very big pack, still pretty much together, but you'd expect that. It's 6 circuits, 12K on a course that will prove very, very tiring by the time they get to the end. Philip Langat now just poking his nose out the front. 61.05 personal best for the half marathon. He was 5th in the National Cross Country Championships. Isaac Korea, also up there for Bahrain, former Kenyan who was cleared to run for them in February last year. 61.40 for the half marathon. So a pretty big pack established at the front. Watching out for 1 or 2 of the Eritreans just passing through. Osman at the back of the group there, World Junior silver medalist last year over 5,000 meters. Nice early packing there from the British team. Chris Derrick with a fairly gentle start, although he's got plenty of time to try and make up the distance. A lot of people saying he was 10th 2 years ago on a really great day for the Americans when they pipped the Kenyans for that team silver. A lot of people saying that Derrick capable of a top 10, maybe even a top 6 finish, but he's quite a way off the pace at the moment, but we do still have a full 5 circuits to go. So, a great battle is in the midst of unfolding here. One of the Ugandans having to run really wide there. I think it was Philip Kipyego, just taken off track a little bit, and there's a little bit of an argument going on between Kipyego and Gebri Hewitt. I don't think Kipyego, the Ugandan, was very happy about how far he was having to run wide on that corner, and he was remonstrating with Gebri Hewitt as he caught him up. So a little bit of drama as we come towards the end of the second lap here in China. Albert Ropp once again lopes his way towards the front. 2 down, 4 to go. There's a lot of hard work still to come. It really does seem, judging on the other 3 races, as though the obstacles on this course are really, really energy-sapping come the closing stages of the race. So this magnificent aerial shot gives us a glimpse as to how many are pulling away. A big lead group of about 16, but they're already quite spread out as Isaac Ropp takes things on, the expatriated Kenyan, now representing Bahrain. Ropp leads, Kamwaraw, Bar Soton still there, so too Idris. 2 Bahrainians hanging on to the back of that group. They'll need to try and continue to do so because they'll be in the mix for a team medal with the kind of performance they're putting in collectively at the moment. Idris and Gebri Hewitt look poised. They'll certainly be delighted to be up there and feeling pretty comfortable. And they'll have the knowledge that Haji out-sprinted career in the junior men's race and how they'd love to make it a double on the men's side of the cross-country here. It was 1 each for the junior and senior women. Gide took the junior women's title for Ethiopia, and Tirop took the senior women's title for Kenya. Kipyego's gone off the back there. He's running alongside Osman, who's a really good athlete, 2nd in the World Juniors over 5,000 meters. Now the gap back to the rest. Even Langat's beginning to struggle. Torotic is going backwards a little bit as well. But I just wonder whether Kipyego was knocked out of rhythm when he went round that tight corner and ended up arguing with Hagos Gebrhiwot. Now Machiri, Bidan Karoki Machiri, has put a little bit of an injection of pace in here, and it's had an immediate impact. Only 5 have instantly gone with him. Machiri, Kamwaror, Idris Gebrhiwot, and Barsotan. And then there's a gap back to Rop, and then 3 Ethiopians behind him. And these 5 are truly world class. Karoki Machiri, as I said earlier, is being heralded as a new Sami Wanjiru. He is a brilliant athlete, not too far away from the medals. In London, in the 10,000 metres, finished 5th, and just missed out with 6th in Moscow. He's the national cross-country champion. Kamwaror, who's leading now, is a double global champion, reigning champion at the World Half Marathon, former champion at the World Junior Cross Country back in 2011. And Idris and Gebrhiwot, also globally decorated athletes. Idris, the reigning World Junior champion at 5,000 metres. He was the fastest man in the, well, fastest man and boy in the world last year with 12:54. World Junior bronze in Bydgoszcz. And Gebrhiwot, World Junior cross-country champion in 2013, and a lightning quick finish to helped him overtake everybody but Farah in the 5,000 metres in Moscow. These 5 are absolutely brilliant, and if they remain at the front, we're in for a real battle, because 5 into 3 doesn't go. And although of course they want to make sure they get on top in terms of the team honours, the individual titles are very important as well. And in fact, just touching on that team competition, the Ethiopians are very much in the driving seat here, because there's a massive gap. The Kenyans have 3 in that group with Barsotan and Kamwaror and Machiri, but there's a really big gap back to their 4th placed athlete, and that could be the difference between gold and silver in the team competition. Moses Kibet just going through shot. He picked up a bronze 6 years ago in 2009. So, Kenya 1, Ethiopia 2, Kenya 3, Ethiopia 4, 5, Kenya 6, Ethiopia 7. Kamwaror does love to get involved with a little bit of front running. He was so strong when he won in Copenhagen last March. Brilliant race in Denmark, and it was great that it was part of the main Copenhagen half marathon. There was a real carnival atmosphere around the city. So Machiru leads, Kamwaror in second. Idris, Gebrhiwot, and Toller right up there as well. Tamaret Toller, a 2:06.17 marathon runner, showing all his strength here to get in amongst the mix. Disappointing that none of the Eritreans have been up in this lead group at all. Kifle, who was 7th 2 years ago, and Meaden, who had 2 medals in Bydgoszcz in 2010 and 2013. No challenge from them. It's been all Kenya and Ethiopia. And surprising that Gebrhiwot's been dropped. Barsotan has had to pick up the pace a little bit. I was keeping my eye on the 3rd Kenyan, who was drifting backwards a little bit. He's now moved past a tiring Gebrhiwot, and he's trying to close the gap on Toller, the Ethiopian marathon man. Kamwaror is laying it down here, and he has split this lead pack of 7 in 2. the reigning world half marathon champion, has Idris and Muchiri for company. Toller's allowed a few meters to grow. And then there's a gap back to Bar Sotten, the third Kenyan. So the Ethiopians are definitely winning the team battle at the moment. Bar Sotten just needs to hang on to the back of Gebri Hiwot to see if he can rejoin the lead group. Still a good run by Albert Ropp for Bahrain. But look at this. Muchiri and Kamworor side by side. It was interesting in the press conference on Friday. Jeffrey Kamworor was there and he was asked about how good it is that the Kenyans have such strength and depth, and he was saying quite honestly, and it was quite amusing actually to hear him say, listen, of course I'm interested in the team competition, but I'm interested in my competition and my race. I'm going to focus on what I need to do and I'm not going to worry about anybody else, even if they're another Kenyan. So although they're running side by side, Bidan Karoki Muchiri and Jeffrey Kipsang Kamworor, they both want this title individually. It would be a third global crown for Kamworor, and it would be a breakthrough performance for Muchiri. National champion in cross country, he's a 27.05 man for 10,000 meters, but he missed out on medals in London and in Moscow over the 25 lap event on the track. So it would be a significant breakthrough for him if he was able to finish on top spot. But what about Mukhtar Idris? What a massive talent he is, and still so young. To have run 12:54 last year, absolutely brilliant. Just clutched his chest there just for a second. Might just be his religious charm, just bouncing around a little bit. A lot of the Ethiopians have those. Very religious country. Fascinating place to visit if you're a fan of distance running. Arguably the sport's spiritual home, although I'm sure the Kenyans would have a thing or two to say about that statement. Both very proud nations. Distance running means so much on both sides of the Rift Valley, and therefore the rivalries between the two countries are ever more intense. Now look at this, Muchiri looking over his shoulder, laying it down. Kamworor is the man who usually likes to lead, but Muchiri, his compatriot, isn't letting him do so right now. Bar Sotten has come past Gebri Hiwot into fourth place, which will help a little bit in terms of the team competition, but the Kenyans have got problems on that score because their fourth best placed athlete is a long way back. Kamworor hits the front once again. Muchiri in second, Idris is third. Here's Bar Sotten coming round in fourth with Gebri Hiwot behind him in fifth. There's no doubt Gebri Hiwot, the silver medalist over 5,000 metres from Moscow, has hit a bad patch, but he needs to try and hang on to his Kenyan rival if he's to mount any kind of a comeback on these lead three. It's a fascinating race between the two Kenyans and the Ethiopians. And one of the reasons for that is that the two Kenyans are absolutely hammering each other here. They both really, really want this victory. And they're not allowing the other to just sit behind. They keep on sharing the lead and taking it on. But Idris is right there. Muchiri looks over his shoulder once again. Just 2 laps to go now. It's an enthralling race. And we're winding our way through this very quickly indeed. Bar Sotten has just come around the corner with Gebri Hiwot right behind him, but they are at least 50 metres back down the course, maybe slightly more. Sege and Toller are running along in 6th and 7th places. These are the 3 leaders So the two Kenyans side by side. Idris hasn't been interested in leading. He hasn't had a chance because Muchiri and Kamwaraw keep rocking and rolling between them. Muchiri glancing round. Now he's at the front, but it'll only be a couple of strides or so before Kamwaraw once again comes up onto his shoulder and reminds him he's there. Driving their way up that incline, making that look so easy. It's incredibly steep. Running so close together, the two Kenyans. I just looked there to see whether Muchiri exchanged a word or two with Kamwaraw, but I don't think he did. Kenyan team coach trying to run on his toes and stay with them. He won't be there for very long and he's already stopped. Such is the intensity of the pace. Great racing from these three men. Idris is happy just to tuck in at the moment. He's allowed a couple of meters to grow. That could be something of nothing. But it's possible that he's really hurting here. You can see the rest of the field in the background. And there's definitely a little gap growing to the Ethiopian. It's not unbridgeable, but the two Kenyans have noticed. Both Muchiri and Kamwaraw have glanced over their shoulder and they've realised that their pace is beginning to really take its toll on Mukhtar Idris. There's only a lap and a half to go here, remember. The Ethiopian is still there, but he is hurting. So are we going to come down to the World Half Marathon champion against the fastest athlete in the world over 5,000 meters from last year? Two very different disciplines, one nation and only one gold medal. It can't be shared. All credit to Idris for hanging on here. So difficult if you start to suffer when you're following a pace as relentless as that being set by Muchiri and Kamwaraw. Really got to use that mental strength to stay in touch. And he hasn't been completely dropped here. Next time round they'll hear the bell. Who has the belief and the strength on the last lap? They will both dearly, dearly want this victory. They take the bell then on the last of 6 circuits in the Senior Men's World Cross Country Championship 2015. We've had 3 fantastic races already here in China, and this has the makings of a truly grandstand finish. Geoffrey Kamwaraw running on the right of the two Kenyan athletes. He's the reigning World Half Marathon champion. Bidan Muchiri is in second place. A brilliant 10,000 meter runner. That's Gebri Hiwot. He's detached in fourth. Mukhtar Idris, the fastest man in the world last year over 5,000 meters, is in third, and he's rocking and rolling a little bit. He's been on his own behind these two Kenyans for quite a long time, and on every occasion where they've raised the pace so far, he's managed to bridge the gap. But he's going to have to really do something special here to deny Kenya a gold medal. They will be lapping quite a few athletes on their last circuit. Remember, 6 times round. So steep that descent, and yet the natural fitness and the natural way Kenyans run, they just made that descent look so easy. Idris in third. The stride has shortened a little bit from the Ethiopian, but once again that elastic band has stretched, but it hasn't yet been totally snapped. If he could somehow mount a sprint in the closing stages, he cannot be completely ruled out, Mukhtar Idris, especially because we know he's got such searing pace over the shorter distances. Kamwaraw is the half marathon specialist with great cross-country credentials as well. Muchiri is a 27:05 10,000 meter man, only just missed out on a medal in London 3 years ago, and the same in Moscow in 2013. But look at this, taking on that incline for the final time. There has barely been more than a foot separating the two men. Some might say teamwork, others might claim that these are two hugely talented, very proud men, and both are desperate for the win. Course has been pretty firm, but you can at last, as to be expected with so many circuits on 4 races on the same 2K loop, the course is cutting up just a little bit now. And Muchiri, just a little slip there as he went down that incline. Idris perhaps now has settled for the bronze medal. Who will have enough in the closing stages? Muchiri just opened up a metre or two there, but Jeffrey Camwell was equal to him. Camwell now, once again, coming back onto the shoulder of Muchiri. Has he given too much away in that little injection of pace? Slightly different styles from the two Kenyans. And remember, they're looking for a piece of world cross-country history here. Their compatriots Paul Tergat and John Ngugi won 5 each. 2 legends of Kenyan distance running and cross-country running. And these two men would love to join them on the illustrious list of champions in this historic, prestigious event that has been going for more than 40 years now. It still means a huge amount, and that's why these two have been tearing it up for the last 4 circuits. No quarter asked, no quarter given, still side by side as they close in on the finish line. Who is going to have the belief, and perhaps more importantly, which of these two Herculean men will have enough at the finish for the sprint to gold? It's a fantastic race. It's impossible to tell now. The Kenyan coaches, well, they know that they're assured of a gold medal and a silver medal, barring a sudden injury. They just don't know which order. Idris has had a fantastic race. He's in 3rd. Bronze is secure. Gebri Hiwot's in the distance. It looked as though at one stage he may be on for a medal, but he seems as though he's destined for 4th. Camwell just had a little glimpse over his shoulder there. And they've touched shoulders again. Coming round that corner, a little bit of a slip. There's Idris. Just needs to focus and stay on his feet, and he'll have another global medal, but it's going to be bronze for the Ethiopian unless something dramatic happens to the two men out front. Camwell hits the front. Still barely anything in this race. Is this victory going to go to the man who swept all before him in Copenhagen last year at the World Half Marathon Championships, Jeffrey Camwell, or will it be Muchiri, the 10,000 metre specialist? And I think we have an answer. Jeffrey Camwell has accelerated away. Muchiri's looked over his shoulder, and I think that means that he has settled for the silver. Camwell is running like a man possessed. The look of concentration on his face is absolutely electric. Jeffrey Camwell, the World Half Marathon champion, becomes the World Cross Country champion after an epic confrontation with a hugely talented teammate. Bidan Karoki Muchiri has to settle for silver, but that is richly deserved. Mukhtar Idris completes the podium with Gebri Hiwot coming across in 4th place, but that was one of the great World Cross Country races. No quarter asked, no quarter given. 2 world-class teammates who both wanted it, but it was the man who excelled at the half marathon last year who had the final say. Well, that race was electric. All of the Kenyans celebrating. So was that 12th place finish enough for them to take the team title? What a victory for Jeffrey Camwell. Muchiri takes the silver. Idris A richly deserved bronze medal for him. No place on the podium for Gebri Hewitt. The leading 5 or 6 were a class above the rest. And look how tight it was between the Ethiopians and the Kenyans, tied on 20. So that meant it came down to the finishing position of the 4th scoring athlete. So Ethiopia took it. Wow, we said it was tight, and the Ethiopians have done it just.